So good morning, everyone. This is Samad here from VBind Education Technologies, Mumbai. And as you are well aware, VBind brings industry experts live into your classroom. And today we have Mr. Kaustubh Dhargalkar. He is an alumni of IIT, a mentor with IIM, a person who does not need an introduction. With decades of experience at his disposal, he is here to educate us on aspects of business design and of technological aspect in business as of now. So without any further delay, I invite Mr. Kaustubh to take over. Sir, quick update on the colleges aligned with us. We have got GIBS Business School, Bangalore, Delhi Institute of Advanced Studies, SVE Institute of Management, SK Patel Institute. We have got Datta Meghe Institute. We have got Quantum Education Business School, ITM Universe, and PES Modern College of Engineering as well. So without any further delay, over to you, sir.
All right. So is my screen shared?
Not yet, sir.
Okay. Is it now? Yeah. Tell me when to start.
Yes, sir. It is up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I can start talking?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me properly and see me also properly. Today, what I'm going to talk to you is basically I'm going to share my thoughts and vision about how technologies that are going to come up in the next 5 years, 10 years are going to completely disrupt the way business is done and the way we live. For example, maybe when storage devices like CDs and USB discs, USB sticks came out about 15 years back or 20 years back, who would have thought in that by 2012, 13, a lot of them would start becoming obsolete. In another 2-3 years, I think we will have to ask what a USB stick looked like. 10 years back, who would have thought SMS would be killed? Today, we have instant messaging services like WhatsApp, which have virtually made SMSs extinct, unusable, or people don't use SMSs right now. A couple of years back, or maybe a year and a half back, one day my wife got a WhatsApp message from our maidservant who worked in our house. And she had sent a photograph of a newly born baby, followed with a message saying that, this is my new grandchild. My daughter has given birth. In her broken English, she communicated this. So I won't come for work for the next 15 days. Who would have thought that would happen in our country, where close to 70% people barely have a decent income. 50% are below poverty line, possibly. Who would have really thought that they would have mobile phones? And if at all they had mobile phones, who would have thought they would adapt to these kinds of technologies? So with that background, I'm going to kind of share with you 6-7 technologies that are going to, according to me, are going to disrupt the way we look at business and the way we live. So first, I'm going to talk about something called femto photography, a high-speed camera capture technique. And I'm going to play a video for that so that it'll make it clear. Now, yeah. Tell me if you can see this video, all right? Not able to see the video? So what do I do now? Hello?
So is it on YouTube? Because we can, you can just start sharing the video and,
It's not on YouTube.
okay. I think
It's
you'll have to just
we
stop
played
the
it some
share
time
and
back.
start the screen share once again.
Stop share and start screen share once again. It is share computer sound, optimize full screen video. All right, now share screen. Tell me if it runs. Can you see the new screen?
Yes, we can see Ted.
Shall I play it? Yeah, I'll play it now. Can you now?
Yes, it is up now.
Audio?
Yes, yes.
Doc Edgerton inspired us with awe and curiosity with this photo of a bullet piercing through an apple, an exposure just a millionth of a second. But now, 50 years later, we can go 1,000,000 times faster and see the world not at 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000, but 1,000,000,000,000 frames per second. I present you a new type of photography, femtophotography, a new imaging technique so fast that you can create slow motion videos of light in motion. And with that, we can create cameras that can look around corners beyond line of sight or see inside our body without an X-ray.
All right, I'm going to just take it forward. Can you hear me, Samad?
So Superman can fly, some other heroes can become invisible, but what about a new power for a future superhero? To see around corners. The idea is that we're going to shine some light on the door, it's going to bounce, go inside the room, some of that are going to reflect back on the door and then back to the camera. And we're going to exploit this multiple bounces of light. And it's not science fiction, we have actually built it. On the left, you see our femto camera. There's a mannequin hidden behind a wall, and we're going to bounce light off the door. So after our paper was published in Nature Communication, it was highlighted by nature.com, and they created this animation. We're going to fire those bullets of light, and they're going to hit this wall. And because of the packet of the photons, they will scatter in all the directions, and some of them will reach our hidden mannequin, which in turn will again scatter that light. And again, in turn, the door will reflect some of that scattered light. And a tiny fraction of the photons will actually come back to the camera, but most interestingly, they will all arrive at a slightly different time slot. And because we have a camera that can run so fast, our femto camera, it has some unique abilities. It has very good time resolution, and it can look at the world at the speed of light. And this way we know the distances, of course, to the door, but also to the hidden objects, but we don't know which point corresponds to which distance. By shining one laser, we can record one raw photo, which you look on the screen doesn't really make any sense. But then we're going to take a lot of such pictures, dozens of such pictures, put them together, and try to analyze the multiple bounces of light. And from that, can we see the hidden object? Can we see it in full 3D? So this is our reconstruction.
All right, so now I'm going to go back to the screen. Samad, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Was everybody able to see the video?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay,
And
guys.
now we can see the screen high-speed image capture.
Yeah. So do you want to take some reactions from them, or should I just go ahead talking?
Yeah, you may please go ahead.
Yeah, no reactions. Maybe a few reactions from them, whether they've understood this or not, would be better, I feel.
Okay. So I think at the end, if we can do this, because right now, if you want, I can just ask unmute, because all the colleges are on mute, unmute now.
Okay.
So I'll just ask the response from each and every colleges right now.
Yeah, because that would make me understand what tone I
Sure,
should
sir.
start talking. Yeah.
Can we have a representative from FMS Udaipur come near the screen and explain to sir what have you understood? Or anyone from SV Institute of Management?
So, but yeah, because you have explained something about a camera, and that was a video on TED.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Yeah. So have
Okay,
you?
so you just explained about a camera, and that was
Yeah.
a video played on TED.
So what does that camera do? Hello? Can't hear. Can't hear.
That camera.
Yes, please go ahead. We can hear you very clearly.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay.
Hello?
If you can hear us very clearly, we want to say that we have a little bit internet problem, and that's why we were unable to attend the whole session. But somehow we could establish an understanding about that. There is a camera which can capture the high-speed images there, and
Right.
that can be work in the field of medical, in the field of defense as well. And we
Okay.
lost the connection again, I think.
All right. So other colleges, anybody wants to respond?
Can we have someone from SV Institute of Management come near the screen and explain what
do you
Kaustubh
want?
is asking? Students from SV Institute of Management? Or any other college, can you please come near the screen?
Since this is supposed to be an interactive, I would urge the students to first take down notes if you want, so that you can have something productive. At the same time, when you are interacting, introduce yourself, so and so from so and so, one of the School of Business, and then ask your question. If possible, write your question once and then speak. Your question is framed properly. Okay?
I think there's a problem of connectivity, right?
Yes.
Should I just go ahead? I think.
Yes. At the end, I think we can ask the students to use the chat box instead.
All right. So tell me when to start. You can unmute them and then I'll
So I'm muting all the colleges again.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Should I go
Yeah.
ahead?
Just a moment, sir. Yes, sir. All the colleges are on mute as of now.
Okay. Now, whatever you saw on screen, can they hear me now?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, I'll go ahead. Whatever you saw in those in that video, basically what it does is it's such a high-speed image capture technology that it can actually shoot light moving in slow motion, which is something that has never been seen before. In that video also you saw that with that reflection of the light beams, it can see corners. So there are huge applications for this in driverless cars, moving around corners. If there's an earthquake and that people stuck under debris, today. You can't see them with this kind of photography technique. You can actually see survivors which are hidden under debris. You can look inside the body where normal catheters, that is the endoscopes that you use today, which enter the body and can see things. And there are certain points where the blood vessels curve, where the catheters can't go. This kind of camera can actually see around corners, around twists and turns within the body. So healthcare and diagnostics is going to change with time. When healthcare and diagnostics change for the better, obviously people are going to live longer. If people are going to live longer, then what is going to happen to the working age or the retiring age of people? If retirement ages of people are going to change, how is it going to affect pension funds and companies which deal in those kinds of instruments? Probably 3 generations from now, our average ages will probably be something like 120 to 130 years. At that time, today 60 or 58 or 62, that is, which is the retirement age, is probably going to be middle age at that time. And you got to just imagine how the entire working force dynamics will change. All kinds of insurance industry, how is that going to change? One has to just imagine with these advances in healthcare because of such technologies. You can, if you noticed him when he spoke, when Ramesh Raskar spoke on that TED video, he said you can actually see light in motion. You can see how light moves and things like that. You can also, if it can capture things which happen at that speed, you can also see how molecules and chemical bonds get formed. If you can see how molecules get formed, then you can actually see how different materials get formed in nature. And if you can see how materials get formed in nature, that can be replicated in synthetic materials as well. So it's going to hugely affect material science. When material science gets affected, your construction material will change. Lightweight material with much stronger bonding and much higher structural strength will emerge, which will completely change the way construction happens. Another thing, if you can see light in action, then you can actually see vegetables and fruits ripening slowly in slow motion actually. So if you can see that, you can actually predict the expiry dates of various food products. You can actually predict when a fruit or a vegetable is going to get spoiled. And what I imagine is if you have small devices which can check this, when you go to buy vegetables or fruits on the roadside, maybe if you direct this kind of device towards those fruits, you can actually predict in how much time that fruit is going to go bad, or within how much time that vegetable is going to go bad. And you can actually say that maybe this fruit will get after maybe 30 hours and 21 minutes and 2 seconds, or 40 hours and 3 minutes and 5 seconds. All that predictive algorithms are going to come in place. And with this kind of stuff, you could maybe bargain with your fruit vendor, saying that, oh, this fruit is going to get bad within the next 7 hours, 2 minutes and 3 seconds, whereas the other fruit is going to get bad in maybe 21 hours and 2 minutes and 5 seconds. So you might pay higher for the second fruit and you would want to bargain more for the first fruit. So you guys need to really imagine those kinds of scenarios that can emerge with this kind of a technology. I'm kind of working on one product or one application. This technology is, today, these days, a lot of our rural art, folk art is dying because the next generation does not want to follow that profession for reasons that the profession is unviable. Say, for example, what you see is in front of you is an image of a potter. There are these potters, lots of them in rural India who do really exquisite pottery. And those products actually have a good demand in urban markets or overseas markets as exports. And people in urban markets and overseas markets are willing to pay pretty high prices for these kinds of art objects. But the paradox is that the artisan who actually makes them really is finding it difficult to survive. One of the reasons is that the middlemen make a lot of money in the process and the artisan doesn't make money. But the paradox is that there is a market which is willing to pay a high price for these kinds of objects, but the person who makes the objects is finding it an unviable profession. And because it is unviable, his next generation, his son or daughter, doesn't want to take that profession. So that's a very paradoxical situation to be in. I'll repeat again, there is a good market, but the producer is not able to survive viably. So the catch here is not just marketing or awareness. It is about enabling the potter or the rural artisan to be able to make more pieces in a day, because today he does it all by hand. So maybe he makes 5 pots a day or 3 pots a day, and that is not really enough for his survival. But if you can give that person some tools which can enable him to make maybe 50 pots a day, maybe because there is a market for such products, he will be able to make a lot more than what he does today with just 3 or 5 manufactured every day. So now with this kind of femtophotography, which I talked about, the video that you saw, you can actually capture the, when a potter is doing an exquisite piece of pottery, the exquisiteness of the artiness comes out because of his deft finger movements, deft wrist movements, deft hand movements, etc. He knows exactly what kind of pressure to put at which point in time, which makes that beautiful pot. Now, if that potter's movements are captured by this kind of a camera in 3 dimensions with 3 or 5 cameras from all angles, you can actually capture the very, very deft movements of the potter's hand. And if you can capture these in 3 dimensions, and you can also digitize these movements using digital signal processing technology. And once you can digitize these movements, you can feed these digitized movements into a robotic arm, which can actually replicate the motion of the potter's hands and can probably make more pots with a similar design, thus eliminating his manual involvement and enabling him to make 50 pots a day rather than just 3 pots a day, for which there is a good market at a very high price. So this is something which also is in line with our Skill India kind of initiative by the current Prime Minister of our country. That's some application which I feel is going to really, really change the way we look at rural artisanship. And that's something which needs to be really researched. The other applications I just spoke about some time back. Now let's move to 3D printing. 3D printing, I'm sure all of you are aware of, is the next revolution in manufacturing. Today, when you manufacture, maybe consider a manufacturing factory of a mobile phone. Mobile phone has maybe 300 or 200 components which are assembled together to form the mobile phone. And these 200 to 300 components come from various factories around the world into one factory where they are assembled together and you get a mobile phone. Now, with 3D printing, you can actually print those objects at the site itself. So what will happen to all the vendors who are currently manufacturing these components and shipping them into the factory at one place, mostly in China? When the components can be printed at site, what is going to happen to the vendors all around the world? The logistics industry or the shipping industry which transports these components currently, today, in today's state, today's condition to the main factory, is mostly transported by ships and road and logistic companies. What will happen to those logistics companies if the manufacturing is done by printing those components at the site itself? A lot of these enterprise resource platforms, ERP platforms around the world that the world uses today, that factories use, 50 to 60% of the computing power is used to manage inventories which come from various parts of the world. But when 3D printing takes over and parts are printed at the site itself, we will have to look at inventory management in a completely different perspective. And a lot of jobs in the ERP space, which look at this, managing this inventory, which is 50 to 60% of the ERP platform. What is going to happen to those jobs? We really need to think about that. A lot of you guys would be getting into IT companies, managing these platforms for logistics, inventory management, etc. What is going to happen to jobs like that? That's something you guys need to think. Those jobs are not going to remain the way they are today. A lot of those jobs have already come down, and probably in the next 5 to 10 years, they might just vanish away. And that's one thing I'm thinking about manufacturing, how 3D printing is going to affect manufacturing. A few years back, maybe 15, 20 years back, there used to be these desktop publishing shops all around the city, maybe at corners of streets. There used to be people with 4 computers sitting there, and if I wanted to make a logo, I would go to one of those shops and sketch out the logo in front of him very roughly, and then sit with that person on the screen. That person would use Corel Draw or Corel Paint to create that logo, and it would take about half an hour to 1 hour of trial and error. And then after an hour, the logo would be finalized, and he or she would give me a printout or a CDR file, which I could use in my printing, in my letterhead printing or visiting card printing, etc. That's how it used to operate with 2D printing some years back. Something similar is going to happen with 3D printing also. Suppose you want to make an object, say you want to make a lampshade or a paperweight, and you don't want to buy something ready-made. You can actually sketch it out and go to such places which are going to spring up, the 3D printing studios, which are going to spring up in the next 5 years all around various cities. You can actually go with a sketched drawing and sit with that person there in the 3D printing studio who creates a 3D AutoCAD rendering of the same, your sketch. And you sit with him and you tell him what you like, what you don't like, and he actually makes all those changes on the screen. And voila, after about an hour, you're back with the object that you wanted, readily printed in various colors, etc. And you can take it home. So that's how I'm seeing 3D printing evolving over the next 5 to 10 years, maybe maximum a decade. Once that happens, the printing, 3D printing costs are also going to come down, because when people start, when there is mass adoption, obviously the prices will drop down. Another thing that I see happening is the mobile phone example that I gave you some time back has certain components, maybe 200-300 components, out of which almost 90% to 95% are standard components. Now these standard components, the drawings of these standard components are going to be available on the cloud in the open source space. And maybe 10 years later or 8 years later or 7 years later, all these drawings would be available in the cloud, and you could actually print out various components sitting at home and maybe assemble a mobile phone in your house itself. That's the way I feel that's going to pan out. Now let's look at some other industries which would be affected by 3D printing. We talked about manufacturing. Construction industry is in for a big change. In China, they have already constructed a building which is has been where bricks and the columns and beams have been 3D printed at the site itself. So, and it's a livable structure. It has been checked for loading factors and everything. One can put furniture, one can live in those structures. That already a two-storied structure has been built. So what will happen to conventional construction industries? Next, we talk about conventional agriculture. In fact, an edible chocolate has been 3D printed. So the only constraint on 3D printing is the choice of material, or is the advancement in the material that is used in 3D printing. There have been food tissue also which can be 3D printed. So conventional agriculture will not completely go away, obviously not, because we will have to grow crops, but extracts from those crops could be taken and integrated into materials which could be put into 3D printers, and a lot of food items could be actually 3D printed. The fourth point, art. Art is what we talked about. If you think of some paperweight or some lampshade, you can actually get it printed and start doing up your house in whatever way. And the other applications are left to your imagination. You guys need to imagine how it can be used. Let's move to the next point. Artificial intelligence. AI is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is based on various self-learning algorithms that the computers manage by themselves, which helps computers generate intelligent reports, and also today helps computers take low-level decisions. Now, when artificial intelligence and bots will actually generate reports, a lot of people, a lot of jobs are going to become obsolete. Today, if you look at how industry operates, how a typical corporate operates, there is a rung of lower management, there is a rung of middle management, and then above that is the senior management, which takes decisions. The lower management finds information from the market, uploads all that information into some system. The middle management generates reports out of these systems and passes on that information and insights from that information to the senior management, based on which the senior management takes strategic decisions and execution decisions. Now, with artificial intelligence, the role of middle management is probably going to become redundant, because all that reporting, intelligent reporting, is going to be taken over by bots driven by artificial intelligence. So what's going to happen to middle management in the next 8 to 10 years? A lot of you are going to get into industry and are going to rise up the ranks in the next 7 to 8 years. You are going to become middle managers. If artificial intelligence takes over, are those jobs going to be really left there for you to occupy? Something that everybody needs to think about. And for that, we really need to reskill ourselves to remain relevant. Unfortunately, the education system that exists in our country does not keep us, you students, updated with the latest stuff that is happening around the world, or even in our country. So that's what I feel. Artificial intelligence is going to kind of be the death knell for middle management in the coming maybe decade or so, maybe even earlier. All right, let's move to the next point. Internet of Things. Everybody has heard about Internet of Things. Everybody these days talks about Internet of Things. But we got to visualize various business scenarios, how the concept of Internet of Things will turn out in real life. So I'm going to discuss a couple of use cases, that is, applications where the Internet of Things could be actually used. One is in healthcare. Suppose there are two people, person A and person B, who go to an insurance company for a new insurance policy to be bought. Both of them are of the same age, and imagine that both of them want an insurance policy for the same amount, say 1 crore insurance policy. So their premium that they pay also will be similar because their age is the same, and the insurance company also takes a health profile at entry level. So, and even suppose the health conditions of both the people are the same. Suppose both of them have diabetes, and the sugar level of both the persons on the day the test was done was the same. So all risk parameters being the same, the age being the same, the insurance company today sells the insurance policy for the same annual premium or half yearly premium. And now, suppose these two people, person A and person B, actually, if the situation is such that person A is very conscious about his or her health, maintains his or her diet very well, takes medicines on time, basically maintains his therapy properly. Person B is not that kind. Person B is very careless, eats anything that he or she wants, doesn't really comply with therapy properly, and hence his sugar levels keep on going up and down. That is, his diabetes is not under control. Whereas person A has a very strict regimen, and his diabetes and sugar levels are very much in control. So I'm asking you, is it a fair model that the insurance company charges both the people the same premium? It's just not fair for person A who complies properly, whereas person B who does not comply properly. So ideally, person A and person B should be paying differential rates of premium. That is, person A should actually get an incentive for better managing his health and being a low risk for the insurance company, whereas person B, who doesn't manage his disease properly, is a higher risk for the insurance company. So ideally, person A should be charged the lower premium, and ideally, person B should be charged the higher premium. Now, this kind of a model will come into insurance, whereby with wearable technology, with wearable devices that you can wear on your body, this insurance company can actually track the health of both person A and person B in this case on a daily basis. Everything can be tracked: pulse rate, BP, body temperature, sugar levels, various parameters of health can be tracked. And that information can be uploaded on the cloud. And there could be an algorithm which actually calculates the premium on a variable basis. And person A gets a reduced premium, person B is charged higher. Actually, if you really see if this model comes into existence, then everybody wins in this process. Person A, who gets an incentive for maintaining his health properly, gains by his insurance premium getting reduced. By keeping the insurance variable, the insurance company also optimizes its risk profile, rather reduces its risk because it takes more from person B and less from person A, so it's kind of minimizing its risk. Person B, even though he pays a higher premium, actually becomes conscious about his health because he's penalized for not maintaining his health properly. And that's an incentive for him to comply to his health properly, leading to better health for person B as well. So it's clearly that everybody benefits in this process. And this is enabled by the Internet of Things, that is the wearable devices which are connected to the cloud at all times. That's one application that I very clearly see coming in healthcare and especially in insurance. Another application that I see is telematics. Telematics is where similar concept of Internet of Things is used in the transportation industry. Today, imagine a car tire, which has these embedded sensors which keep on sensing the wear and tear of tires, the condition on which, the terrain on which the tires are being driven. So what can happen is, or rather today, when you go to buy a car tire, you may pay an upfront price. That is, you buy the tire outright. Maybe the prices of tires vary from maybe 3,000 to 20,000, depending on the kind of car you drive. So if you want to change all the 4 or 5 tires of your car, you end up spending anything between 15 to 60,000, 70,000 for the entire car. Now, if the car tires are equipped with embedded sensors which check how the car is being driven, is the driver braking too often, is the driver driving very rashly, is the car being driven on a smooth highway, or is the car being driven on a rough rural countryside. So the wear and tear of the cars is going to be different for all these conditions. Now with these sensors, all this information can be tracked and can be fed into the cloud, which is accessed by the tire company. So the tire company could change the business model by saying that we won't sell you the tire completely. You can pay us a small charge. Suppose the tire cost of the selling price of the tire today is 5,000 rupees. Maybe the tire company will say you pay us 2,000 rupees today, and for every mile that you use the tire, we could charge you a variable cost. That is, if you drive the car on a smooth highway, we will charge you maybe 5 rupees a kilometer. If you drive the car on a rough road, on a countryside rough road, we will charge you maybe 8 rupees a kilometer. So basically what I'm saying is going to happen is that the product which was sold, that is the tire which is sold as one product at one time in a one-time transaction, is going to convert into a hybrid product service kind of a model, which will be pay per unit of usage options. What happens in this, let us analyze. One is the consumer gets that product with a lower upfront payment. That is, instead of 5,000 rupees to buy one tire today, he has to shell out maybe just 1,000 rupees as an upfront payment, and the rest of the usage is charged per unit of the kilometers that he or she drives, and the way he or she drives, and the kind of road on which the tire is being driven. So the upfront cost being low is going to be desirable for the consumer. At the back end, for the tire company, they are going to get real-time information about all the defects in the cars, and which is going to help them for further R&D development of their product as well. And most importantly, the car company is going to be able to make money over the entire lifespan of the product. So it will end up making a lot more than 5,000 rupees from the same customer for the same tire. So it's going to be a win-win situation for everybody. And this is going to be enabled by the Internet of Things that's going to come. Moving on to the next kind of technology is that, since the last 2 months, the government of India has been talking with a lot of these mobile phone manufacturing companies like Samsung and Apple and LG and Micromax and Carbon to embed an app which is the Aadhaar app in their mobile phones that they sell now. Now the Aadhaar card, everybody knows, everybody uniform identification number for all Indians. That is already being done. So imagine if your Aadhaar card ID is embedded in your phone. Most smartphones today have the ability to recognize your fingerprints. And now a lot of phones are coming with cameras which can actually identify your retina pattern and the iris pattern, which are the two identification things that the Aadhaar card has been embedded with. Remember how your Aadhaar card was taken? You had to give all your fingerprints and you had to give your iris recognition in the camera, which is embedded in your Aadhaar number. So if that information is now embedded in your mobile phone, all identification procedures can become one-stop operations on the mobile phone itself. So today, when your bank wants to do a KYC operation, that is know your customer operation, it asks for a number of documents from you. It asks for proof, it asks for your ration card, it asks for your passport details and whatnot. Now, all those operations will just vanish away because identification can be done on the mobile phone itself, and it is encrypted and it is verified identification. Imagine when you go for take your passport, there is a time delay because there is police verification to be done and there's address verification to be done and all of that is to be done. Imagine a situation in the future where your Aadhaar card is linked to your mobile phone, your fingerprint is linked, and your iris pattern is linked. All that will happen instantly, thus saving a lot of time. Now, think about the implications on the job scenario. A lot of people working for banks in the IT space, a lot of operations are spent on KYC departments. All those departments are just going to vanish. A lot of backend is used for authorizing and identifying people. A lot of that is going to just vanish with this kind of technology coming. So just keep thinking about all these kinds of technologies and how they will evolve. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah, this is, all of us know Uber as a transport company which helps us hail taxis and helps us go from one place to the other. But I think it is not just a transportation company. Of course, yes, it is a transportation company, but according to me, it is way, way beyond a transportation company. Uber is a geolocation platform with enormous possibilities. What it does is when you want to book a cab, it locates the nearest taxi fellows who are free and available and are ready to take you to your destination. The taxi guy gets an alert, and the one who accepts that alert the first gets to take that order. So that's how the Uber platform works. Now, imagine applications in different fields. Imagine you are on an e-commerce site, say like a Flipkart, and if you like a particular shirt or a T-shirt which is displayed there, photograph is there. You click on the photograph, showing your intent to purchase that particular product. Now, if an Uber-like platform exists with Flipkart, it will show the nearest 5 or 10 shops which have that T-shirt or shirt in stock. And an instant alert goes to all those 10 shops or 5 shops which are in your vicinity. And they could actually quote instantaneously. You could get all those quotes on your screen sitting in a drawing room, and you could choose the best option available for you. That's a kind of platform that can an Uber-like platform can be used in retail. You can think of many other possibilities where Uber-like platform can be used to simplify things, to speed up deliveries. Basically, it's a platform which brings a supplier and a vendor together. A vendor who has extra capacity or idle capacity can actually let out its services using this kind of a platform. Today, only the taxis and idle capacities of taxis are used to provide them business, but henceforth, anybody who has idle capacity and is registered on a platform like this should be able to get business. So that's where aggregation has gone to. Next, I'm going to leave you with just a thought. What is the future of packaging? Imagine for a minute, just imagine what is the best packaging that you have ever seen. All right, Samad, can we get some responses from the students for this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the best? What is the best packaging that you have ever seen? Let them respond. 4 or 5 responses, and then I'll talk.
Okay. Do you want the students to come with this answer, or just by the chat?
Just 1 or 2 thoughts from the students. Yeah.
Okay. So, any students, can you come near the screen or use the chat box to answer this question? What's the best packaging that you've ever seen?
Any responses?
Yes, do we have any response from Kalyani Srinivas, DIS or SV Institute? Yes, DY Patil, please go ahead. So they are using the chat box.
Yeah, okay. How can I see? Oh, chat. Should I? What do I do? Should I?
Yeah,
Click on the
I
chat?
think so. You'll have to stop the share to have a look at the chat box.
Okay.
The belowmost panel has got an option for chat box, sir.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let them respond. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, DY Patil Management Institute, please go ahead.
Or they can talk also. No problem. Yeah, I can see somebody coming there on the window.
Is DY Patil has replied with best packaging that we have seen is of Kinder eggs.
Okay, okay, okay.
It's on the chat box, sir.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. GIBS Business School also wants to respond. Looks like. Go on, guys. Just feel free to respond. What is the best packaging you have ever seen, you have ever encountered? Somebody's typing?
Yes, I suppose it is GIBS.
Okay, okay. Pratishtha from Quantum School. I've seen the best packaging in Indian companies, Haldiram's, which provides the safest namkeens. Somebody is saying Tetra Packs available for perishables can sustain the product for a couple of days. All right. Any more responses? Otherwise, I will go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, any more responses from the colleges?
Okay, somebody's typing, I think. Is anybody typing or should I start talking?
So I think you may start while the college may answer the question as you go ahead.
I share the screen again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Can the colleges also see my screen?
Yes, sir. The future of packaging.
Okay, what is the best packaging that you have ever seen? All right, that question is on the screen. All right,
Yes, sir.
we got responses like Kinder eggs and Haldiram and something else I saw on screen, which is the best kind of packaging that you guys have ever encountered. I I beg to differ a little. The best packaging that I have ever seen is, to just show you on screen. The best packaging that I have ever seen is this: an orange, or a banana, or a coconut. What I'm saying here is that this packaging keeps the inside components completely sterile, completely away from any pollutants. We don't mind buying these products even on the roadside. On the roadside, there is so much of motor pollution. The fruits are exposed to all of that, but still we buy it. Why? Because the moment you peel them off, the inside parts portions are completely sterile and completely antiseptic. or rather antiseptic as in sterile. They're completely sterile. They're not polluted by external surroundings like air, etc. And just look at the banana, how easy it is to peel off, how simple it is to peel off. Have you ever seen trying to open a banana? It opens perfectly along the edges? Does that happen with our paper perforations? We invariably get jagged edges when we try to cut paper or when we try to peel off paper from packaging. But banana never gets a jagged edge. Similarly, coconut, perfectly hard, you bounce it off, you bang it, it doesn't break. It breaks only when with a particular technique. So rather than researching on plastics and Tetra Paks for the future of packaging, I think we should draw inspiration from these kinds of products which already exist, and we should try to replicate them artificially in our packaging of food products or any other material. I'm saying so because every time we get, maybe if you're trying to open a USB stick, imagine just go back into your memory and see the difficulty that you've always encountered. Invariably, that hard plastic gets stuck in between our nails and the skin, bleeding happens and all of that. And look at the simplicity with which these fruits can be unpeeled. So I'm just leaving you with this thought that inspirations have to come from things around you. They don't necessarily have to come from technology. Technology has to actually take inspiration from nature. And there is so much to learn around us, which technology can enable. With that, I would like to have your question answer session. And I'm around for whatever time it takes to answer those questions. Yeah.
Thank you for that wonderful thought, sir. So we'll throw open the forum for question and answers right now.
Yeah. So I stopped sharing and go to chat?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay.
Yes, so all the colleges, now is your time to ask as many questions you want to Kaustubh sir here. You can use the chat box.
Hello, school. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are audible. Please go ahead. Although you are invisible.
I'm student from GIZ Business School, and I do have a question regarding the femtography which you spoke. It's a very good concept you knowledge of this. So my question is,
I can't hear properly.
sir? Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible, but in parts, somewhere your voice.
Yes, you are audible. I would request you to go a bit slow or use the chat box instead.
Yeah, you can talk. Just type in the chat box. Go ahead.
So I have been through a YouTube video where they have shown a launching of a new car. Okay, that to analyze the warmth of any human body.
Can't hear properly. Maybe you can type your question.
Yes, I will do.
Okay, so I'm muting all the colleges. All the colleges, please use the chat box. So there is one question already from DY Patil Institute. It's on your screen.
Yeah. I'll read out the question.
Sure.
There is Shraddha from DY Patil Management Institute who is asking, how do you foresee the change in governance with the advent of these recurring business models? Governance, as in, I suppose you mean by corporate governance or monitoring from the government. So I'm just assuming these two kinds of things. When you move from selling a product as a product to a hybrid model as in product plus service, your entire structure of doing the business is going to change. The way you envisage revenues is going to change. The way you share your revenues with your partners, that is vendors, etc., is going to change. Partners themselves are going to change. your constant feedback you're going to get from the customer, on which the customer will expect you to act immediately. So your feedback mechanisms and your R&D mechanisms have to change completely. Your marketing structures have to change. The cash flow management will have to change completely. So your systems of accounting also will need a big overhaul there. Existing financial management techniques will not function because the movement will be, the focus will be on cash flows and hence resulting profits. So your accounting systems need to change. The government regulations also will have to change because the way things are today, the kinds of laws which exist today will also need to be relooked at with these kinds of emerging scenarios. The way a bank funds a company will also change because the movement will be from product to product services companies. And the cash flows are going to be very different. Hence, the analysis from a bank's perspective also is going to change. So I look at governance in terms of this holistic aspect from all sides. I hope I've answered your question. Should I go to the next one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. From SK Patel, as an MBA fresher, how difficult is it to cope with the changing technology? It is difficult if you don't want to change, but it is easy if you're open to change. That's how I would answer it. Basically, what I would say is you guys need to be, everybody needs to be aware of the changing trends in technology. More than that, you've got to be aware of how people are adopting to those technologies and how the future is going to change because people are adapting to these technologies. Actually, if you really see, none of these technologies emerge in vacuum. They're always dictated by a core human need that is seen by these developers. And that's when these developers or these scientists actually encounter or are in touch with consumers who constantly voice their complaints, that's where their research originates from. So technologies don't evolve in vacuum. They're always driven by users. So as a fresh MBA graduate, I would say that you should be in constant close proximity with the end user. What is happening in society? How are trends changing? How is society changing? How is user behavior? How is behavior changing? And then look at how various technologies can be adopted to create products and services to cater to those changing trends and changing needs. So don't be afraid of technology. Technology is an enabler finally to help humans go about their lives. So if you understand how humans go about their lives, I think you can adapt various technologies that are available around us. So don't be afraid of technologies. All right. The next one, Neha Mishra from Quantum. Kindly tell me the Internet of Things in which you gave example of a person who haven't cared himself, how HT is going to be panelized. I didn't quite understand this question. Could you please resend? It is about the Internet of Things and the example which I gave, but I can't understand what you have kind of written. Maybe there are some typos. Maybe you could send in again. Till then, I will go to the next question. From GIBS, someone is asking about the femtophotography concept. Can we use the same cameras in production plants to get the desired precision in the production of products, as it can show the movements in fast-moving machineries to reduce the bottlenecks? Well, I think this is already done, when automatic efficient machines are in operation, they are already taken care of, and movements over there are not so fast that they can't be captured with normal cameras. Femtophotography at such points would probably be an overkill. So that's what I feel. It can be managed with normal cameras as well, slightly high-speed cameras. You don't need femto photography for that. Next question, Gaurav from Quantum Business School. My question is how femto camera is helpful in avoiding car accidents. Femto camera again is an overkill for smart cars. When there are driverless cars, there are going to be situations where turning at blind spots is going to be crucial. And the kind of example that you saw on video where you could see around corners, that's how this kind of technique is going to help in smart cars, driverless cars, even people driving cars. You'll be able to see around corners. That's how it's going to be used. That's how it's going to be useful. GS Vignesh from GIBS wanted to know about femto. How will these complicated instruments transition out of the lab? All right. Everything starts in the lab. Everything is very expensive in the beginning. But if you notice that costs drop when adoption happens at a mass scale. A mobile phone in the 80s or 90s was phenomenally expensive for that time. Today, even the lowest rung in our society, the maid servants, have a mobile phone. So society has a way of adapting to these new technologies, and when adoption happens at a mass scale, automatically the prices drop. So I see definitely that the prices of all these kinds of complicated instruments and technologies will drop over the future when adoption happens at a mass scale. This is Neetu from Quantum School of Business. Kindly tell me how 3D printing is affecting logistics companies. Yeah, as I explained some time back, today there are these various vendors from around the world which bring in all these components at one factory or two factories, and then they are assembled. Now, and all this transportation happens because of logistics companies. Who transports these things? The logistics companies, right? The shipping companies, etc. But when 3D printing comes in a big way, a lot of these components are going to be printed at the factory site itself. So logistics companies will not have much to transport. So I feel logistics companies will also run short of business in that kind of a scenario. A lot of these logistics companies are transporting materials from various vendors across the globe to factories. What will happen when factories themselves start printing these small components at the factory itself? That's where I see logistics companies getting a problem there. Next question, same one, Neha from Quantum. I'm asking that how the second person related to the Internet of Things, if possible, will with some, no, okay. I am asking about how the second person related to Internet of Things, if possible, explain with some other example. No, I didn't quite get that question. Could you please reframe or repeat? About second person. Okay, till that time, there's one more question. Ankit from DY Patil. How students of this age can cope up with innovations happening all around the world, as the kind of education that we pursue here in India doesn't teach us how to think. It also does not have a mechanism for us to have us in touch with the elite personalities. I think that's something which one really has to crack. I mean, you got to be really aware of what is happening around. Read up as much as possible. The TED video platforms are a great way to learn about various things that are happening in the world, not just about technology, but about a lot of other things, social trends happening around in the world. Read blogs like Wired.com or Mashable or TechCrunch to keep abreast with various technologies that are coming up in the world. Google Scholar is a good way to keep in touch with what's happening around in the world, the contemporary stuff. The only way to kind of overcome our lack of awareness is to try and be more aware by reading, by surfing the net. And you have so many apps today which keep giving you alerts about some new things that come up. So subscribe to such apps, and I think that's the way to go around. That's the way to go ahead. Next question, Dushyant from the Tamege Institute. Is telematics technology a secure way of transmitting confidential information like nuclear weapon information? Telematic technology is not about transmitting information. It is about using the transmitting information for taking decisions. Nuclear weapon information, etc., is highly encrypted, difficult to decode, but still there are hackers who can do it, and that's a completely different space than what we are talking about. Vivek Lama from Quantum, you mentioned, but that question is half. Okay, he's completed later. You mentioned that femto camera can capture the molecule formation. It can capture supernatural things. If so, what will be the minimum selling price in Indian market? Well, today it costs very high. Once it becomes more available by mass adoption, the prices will definitely drop. And honestly, I don't know the minimum selling price in an Indian market. It's a lab concept as of now. Next is from DY Patil Management, how the existing traditional businesses like import-export can make their way to change to be at par with innovative business models. First of all, I think you need to look at what kinds of imports and what kinds of exports will come up in the next few years because of these technologies. People will keep needing products. People will need to keep importing and exporting stuff. That is going to happen. But what kind of products will take that route is something that you need to look at. And that will be definitely dictated by these innovative business models. As I said some time back, logistics companies which transport materials, finished components from one place to the other, will definitely get affected because of 3D printing technology. So you got to think about these businesses from that perspective. So start thinking about what kinds of imports and exports will happen in the next 5 years, and that will help you cope. That will help traditional import-export businesses to cope with the new things that are happening. Yeah. All right. There was a question which I had not understood earlier. So does that person want to resend that question again?
I think it was Neha.
Yeah.
Yeah, come near the screen and ask the question. I'll unmute your college. Neha Mishra. Hello, do we have Neha here?
It was a question related to Internet of Things.
There is one more question with regards to Internet of Things, requesting for an example.
Kindly tell me with another example. Let's take a very simple example, okay, not a complicated thing. What is Internet of Things? Suppose I am taking a lecture with you right now. I'm talking to you, I'm taking a session with you. And I have a bottle of water kept with me. And as I'm talking, I'm feeling thirsty, all right? And the water in the bottle is getting empty. And I'm talking to you, so I'm not really noticing when the bottle is going to get empty. Now, imagine a situation where the bottle is fitted with certain sensors which can actually check the level of the water. And if these sensors are connected to the canteen of the college, which sends an alert to the canteen when the last 50 milliliters of 50 ml of water is left in the bottle. Will that not help in reordering the bottle? Conventionally today, when the bottle gets empty, somebody has to go down to the canteen or make a call to the canteen, and then they will send the bottle of water. But if the bottle is fitted with sensors, and these sensors are connected to the cloud, and that information is going to the canteen in real time, I don't have somebody to get water for me when it becomes empty. The canteen fellow will know when the bottle is going to get empty, and probably he will just ask someone whether I should send a new bottle or not, or just send a bottle. So that's the Internet of Things, a very crude example, because everything and anything around will be connected to each other through various sensors. That is, in this case, I said the bottle will have various sensors, and these sensors will be internet enabled, Wi-Fi enabled, which are capable to send these signals to the people, relevant people. So that's a very crude example of the Internet of Things. I hope I'm clear with that.
So I think we have Neha here to answer the ask the question.
Go ahead.
Yes, Neha, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Neha from Quantum School of Business.
Good afternoon.
I was just earlier you said that two of the person. I think I have not understood that example very well, but I'm just here now. You were saying that the Internet of Things will just scan the position of the person. What the first one was taking the health of care of his health, and the second one was not taking the care of health. The Internet of Things will just scan the position and ensure the insurance company about the position of both the...
No, not the position, it's the health of that company. Because see, you have these smart watches today, Fitbit and all those devices which can actually track your health parameters. Yeah, so it's not about position, it's about the condition of that person's health. And if the condition...
The premium and all average. Am I right?
I can't hear you now. The last part I didn't hear.
Hello?
Yeah.
So that they can calculate the premiums and all.
Yes. If the person's if the person's health is not doing well, then it's a higher risk for the insurance company. So that person should be charged a little higher, whereas the person who is maintaining his health well should be actually given some incentive, some discount. That's what I mean by variable insurance premium.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you, Neha. So we have got one more question from D.Y. Patil, and we have already taken a lot of time from Kaustubh sir. So let this be the last question.
No problem. I have no problem about time, no issues. Any advice this is from D.Y. Patil of management. Any advice of what should be the approach of our student towards technology and business so that they can compete with the startup environment these days? Some time back I said that we need to really make our students a lot more aware of what is happening in the world, what is happening in India around, what are the trends in society, what are the trends in technology, and we should equip the students to be able to relate these trends with the social trends, with the trends in technology, and imagine newer applications of the existing technologies or the emerging technologies. So we have to equip our students to find new applications of these kinds of technologies. It's not about inventing the technologies at all, because that's not the job of MBA students, managers. The managers are there to find new applications of these technologies. So you've got to understand what that technology does without really having to understand how the technology works, but rather what the technology does is important. And we should have sessions where we sensitize our students to these technologies and make them think on their own to find new applications, because that's what actually the startup environment does these days. They find newer and newer products and newer services to satisfy old needs. Needs are not changing. If there is a e-commerce website which sends you groceries, is it sending you something different? Is it sending you some new fruit and new vegetables? It is sending you the same fruits, vegetables, grains, pulses. but it is doing in a different way by through the net, and it is increasing your convenience in your daily life. So that's something which we should equip our students to find out, and then look at what technologies can be adapted to make these conveniences and faster deliveries, or ease up the experience or improve the experience of consumers using these various technologies. Yeah. Yeah, there's one more question. Professor Shinde, hello sir. We are planning to have industry expert sessions regularly for our students to inspire and sensitize the students to interact with people like you, probe them to do something on their own. Great. Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Shinde. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think this was the last question. Any more question from the students? So if the students would want to ask more questions post the session, can they get in touch via maybe Twitter or any other medium?
Yeah, sure. Shall I put my Twitter ID and Facebook
yes,
ID?
Sir.
Yeah. That's on Facebook. HRD on Twitter, and my website is I'm just typing potentials and possibilities.com. Yeah, you can get in touch with me. Email. You want my email also?
Yes, I think all the students, if they have any questions, they can use the email also.
Facebook, Twitter would be great.
Okay. So all the students, please check the chat box. Kaustubh sir has shared his FB as well as the Twitter handle and the website as well,
where you will find various articles. Some of the references that I talked about are in those articles of mine on the website. And you can get in touch with me via LinkedIn as well. Same name as FB. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, so I guess all the students have noted this down. Besides, we will be also emailing contact details for Kaustubh sir in the follow-up newsletter email. So I think, sir, that is all from the students, and that is all from the professors, and we really appreciate your sharing your knowledge and time with the students.
Great, thank you. It was a pleasure.
So students, can we have a huge round of applause for Kaustubh sir?
Hello, Samad, can I
Yes,
sign
sir,
off?
thank you.
Okay, yeah, bye. Leave meeting, na? Okay, yeah, bye, thanks.
All the students and professors, I would request you to just hold on to your seats for a couple of more minutes. And so I'm sure every one of you has already registered yourself on the VBind website. And if not, you would want to go to the VBind website, sign up as a student, and you can avail your free certificate as well. And besides, we are also running a Blogstar competition for students across India who would want to get into content and who would want to test their skills and abilities in content writing. So thank you once again for being such a wonderful audience. Have a nice day.